Are you struggling to eat in the first trimester? I've been there, trust me. And this video is not about how to eat perfectly, it's how to eat healthier when you're feeling nauseous, when you're exhausted, and when you can't even bear to look at a vegetable. I wish that I had this advice at the very beginning because I knew what I should be eating and I didn't feel like any of it. And so I just ended up eating all the junk food because I'd given up. It was only right in the final weeks of my first trimester and my nausea that I figured out a system, and I'm excited to share it with you today. And hi, my name is Emma. I'm currently 27 weeks pregnant tomorrow, and I'm a prenatal yoga teacher. I've created this channel to support women through their ever-changing cycles of life, and at the moment I am pretty focused on pregnancy. So if that all sounds good to you, do subscribe to the channel. So what are we going to cover in this video? So first we're going to look at lifestyle changes that can help. Then we're going to look at what are the most commonly palatable foods in the first trimester if you're struggling to find what you can eat. Then we're very briefly going to look at what are the healthy foods we should be eating. And finally, I'm going to talk through my secret strategy of how to eat just a tiny bit healthier with some recipe ideas. Recipes a stretch, snacking ideas and simple foods that we can eat. So let's start with lifestyle changes. So as I got into the first trimester, I called it my Hobbit diet, which I still like. So it's important to eat often and to eat in small quantities. So mostly it's about eating often, and in order to do that, we need to reduce the amount slightly. Start your day straight away with some kind of snack. I stocked my fridge up with little mini Actimel yogurts, and I just down one as soon as I was up and out of bed. Whatever little snack works for you, it will just keep your nausea at bay a little bit longer. If you're not feeling nauseous, you have a nausea-free window, maybe you just ate something and you're feeling okay, then take advantage of that time to prep yourself some food or a snack or to do something productive. Another tip is to ask loved ones to cook for you. And this might seem counterintuitive, but bear with me. A couple of times my husband would say, "Oh, I'm gonna cook this. Does that sound good to you?" And I'd be like, no, I don't want that. It's okay. You cook it for yourself and I'm good. Then after he'd finished cooking the meal and he was sitting there eating it, I'd look at it and be like, "Can I have some?" So I think if it's a nourishing home-cooked meal, always just give it a chance. Worst case scenario, you say, "Yeah, sorry, I don't feel like it. You can have leftovers for lunch tomorrow," or whatever. Next lifestyle tip is don't have unhealthy foods in the house. So if you are craving chocolate, which was definitely my case, I would try to buy like the smallest little chocolate bar to satisfy my craving instead of buying like a box of chocolates. If there was a box of chocolates in the apartment, they would be devoured. So do yourself a favor, don't put the temptation there, and don't buy unhealthy foods for the house. The final tip is take your prenatal vitamins before you go to bed. The iron, especially in prenatals, can cause or exacerbate nausea. So if you're taking those in the morning, maybe switch to taking them before you go to sleep. On to section number 2, most palatable foods. So for me, I had a really tough first trimester in that I felt nauseous like 100% of the time, unless I'd just eaten something. And I had aversions to everything. So I spent a lot of time browsing Pinterest. I would type in healthy foods and look through to see if anything was jumping out at me that I thought, yeah, I could eat that. or browsing through Reddit to see what other people in their first trimester were eating, which would give me some inspiration. And I did find that there were a group of foods that were most palatable. So here we go. First, we have the sweet category. So this is the naughty stuff like chocolates and sweets and ice creams, but also importantly, fruits. So fruits were very popular, and for some reason, if they're cold in the fridge, this makes them even better. Next, we have bland carbs. So think like jacket potatoes, plain toast, cereals, crackers. These sorts of things are super popular. Sour is another craving. So a lot of people really enjoy like fizzy drinks like lemonades and things, or sour sweets as well are very popular. Anything sour. Salty is another popular choice. So you've got pickles, which is also kind of related to the sour from before. You have crisps and like salty peanut butter. And finally, you have dairy. So milk, yogurts, cheeses. These were also super commonly coming up in Reddit forums. And an interesting category are foods from childhood. So I read this over and over again, that people were like, I haven't eaten this since I was 10 years old. And I felt that as well. I remember going through a phase where I was craving like a full English breakfast, and I didn't really have that so much growing up, but it kind of is a childhood food. So just in case you're curious, my personal foods that were my go-to, I have a little list. So strawberries, bananas, grapes, but they had to be super cold grapes, dried fruits like dried figs, and they're easy to carry in your bag, chocolate, I'm gonna be honest, baked potatoes, hash browns, salt and vinegar sunflower seeds, didn't even know they existed until I found them, cream cheese on crackers, that was for weeks my go-to, ricotta cheese, burgers for a while, dal and dosas, so Indian food I was craving, sausages, avocados, eggs, especially boiled eggs, and nori, so seaweed that you find in sushi. So they were my cravings. But this is important. It can change not only week by week, but day by day, hour by hour. So don't stock up on one thing, because you might stock up your whole fridge and then the next day you're like, oh, I don't like cherries anymore. Now we're gonna move on to healthy foods. And I'm not gonna stay here too long, because I'm sure you know fairly intuitively what's healthy and what isn't, but we're just gonna run through it. You've got fruits and vegetables rich in vitamins. You've got complex carbs, so swapping from normal pasta to whole wheat pasta, for example. You've got beans and pulses, which have protein and lots of nutrition in them. You also have dairy, and trying to choose healthy, unprocessed dairy. And you've also got protein, so trying to choose healthy protein to grow your baby. Now, if you're curious about what you can't eat, because we know pregnancy comes with lots of do's and don'ts, I recommend my book review of Expecting Better by Emily Oster, and just skip ahead to the food section to sort of hear the do's and don'ts. Yeah, I love that book, and that video should be helpful, so do check that out. And before we come on to the recipe ideas, if you're enjoying this video, please give it a like, it means so much. And subscribe for more videos like this. I'm also doing a ton of book reviews because I've read so many books, maybe like an embarrassing amount of books. And I also have a ton of yoga videos made for pregnancy. And you don't need to have done yoga before to be able to do these classes. Okay, on to the recipe ideas and probably why you're here. So now we're on to the healthier eating options. So I'm not going to tell you to deny your cravings, and this is important, especially if you're feeling rough in your first trimester. If there's something you want to eat, then that's your like one little joy. I'm not saying deny that. I've got two different things we can do. So one is to make a swap, and I'll discuss this, and two is to make an addition. So the swap. So let's say you're craving a plain pasta with butter. Could you swap that plain pasta to a whole wheat pasta? It's still going to be bland, it's still going to be pasta, but it's going to be much better for you with a little bit more nutrition and a little less of a blood sugar spike. So that's a swap example. Another swap example, you're craving ice cream. Could you instead freeze a banana and blend the banana with a little bit of peanut butter and eat that? It has the same consistency as ice cream, it's nice and cold, it's sweet, but it has more nutrition. Next, onto the add example. If swap is just not really working, let's say you're craving a buttery jacket potato, plain. Could you add some healthy omega-rich fish, such as some sardines on top? Now, I don't know what kind of jacket potatoes you like, but that might be repulsive to you, but to me, that works. Let's take another add example. So let's say you want a chicken burger and you're just set, like, I'm not making swaps, I'm craving a chicken burger, a fried chicken burger, and that's all I want. Could you add some avocado into your chicken burger, if that's an option? Just try to add a little bit more nutrition into that meal. So that's kind of the gist of it. I want you to take your cravings and first try to make a swap and then try to make an addition. So let me just run through those palatable food groups and give you a few more examples. So some options for sweet. So you've got fruits. You might do fruits dipped in a little bit of melted dark chocolate. You might just want chocolate and then try to go for dark chocolate rather than milk. You can try sliced apples with nut butter on them. You could do a toast with ricotta and sliced peaches. There's so much you can do with fruits, and fruit smoothies are also a really great option. Carbs. So the easy thing to do here is to swap a simple carb for a complex carb. Whole wheat pasta, brown rice, lentils. You can, if you really want pasta, you could swap it for like butter beans that you get in a can with some kind of pasta sauce. Instead of white bread, go with brown bread, seeded bagels. If you're going with crackers, try to find some rye crackers that you like. So just think complex carbs with seeds and nuts and all that jazz. And try and swap potatoes for sweet potatoes. And now they are quite different, but you might also be having that sweet craving, and there's a lot of great vitamins and minerals in sweet potatoes. Next, we come on to sour. If you're craving fizzy drinks, try to go with soda water with a little squeeze of lemon. That's refreshing, it gives you that sourness, but you don't have all the sugar and the processedness. Also, you've got things like olives, capers, fermented foods like kimchi or sauerkraut, which are also good for your gut bacteria. And another really good one is ginger shots, homemade. So ginger helps with nausea as well. It's tangy. All you need to do is to get a knob of ginger, wash it, chuck it in your blender, blend it up with a bit of lemon juice and honey, and strain it through a sieve. But I know I'm saying that might seem like too much, and if it is, don't worry about it. But this is a great option without all the sugar that comes with a lot of ginger products. On to salty. So instead of crisps, You can go with salted nuts, salted seeds, seaweed. Nori is a very healthy food rich in iodine, so you can get seaweed kind of like, they do them almost like crisps. They can be great. And popcorn as well. If you pop the corn yourself, you can also reduce the amount of that kind of fake butter you get in the packets, but popcorn is a more healthy option than crisps. Dairy, so dairy was a big one for me. Greek yogurt instead of sweetened yogurts. Try and choose unprocessed cheeses instead of like Philadelphia cream cheese. Maybe you could swap that over to ricotta or mascarpone. That's what I ended up figuring out at the very end. Have some milk, just always in the fridge. But yeah, try to go less processed, and if you can think about less fat in your cheeses as well. Protein. So protein, if you're craving it, I went through a phase where I really wanted burgers and then I couldn't touch meat for most of my first trimester, but try to choose protein that's grilled instead of fried. So instead of a fried chicken burger, could you go for a grilled chicken burger, for example? Try to avoid processed meats like deli meats. Eggs are a great source of protein, and that's something really easy and simple to do, is just boil like 6 or 7 eggs and just have them in the fridge. And also the fish that's best for us is high omega-3, low in mercury, and a lot of these fish you can find tinned. Sardines, mackerel, I'm sure there's more, but I'm forgetting. So I just had a couple of tins of sardines and mackerel, and if I could stomach it, I would just have a slice of toast or a cracker and just have sardines on a cracker. And that's a really healthy, high protein, high omega-3 choice. So there you have it. There's a bunch of my ideas, and if you want more ideas, then I recommend to go on Pinterest or on Reddit and just see what other people are eating, so you can kind of get a few ideas. But most importantly, don't be hard on yourself, and do enjoy the cravings that you have, and you can use the swap add method that I outlined, and I hope it's been helpful. I just think anything that can help us through that first trimester, right? If you've enjoyed this video and you are in your first trimester, check out my other video, which is the first trimester survival guide. I hope that also is of some help. Now, this is important. What are you eating? Please pop it in the comments, because there will be other pregnant first trimester ladies who are struggling, and let's help each other. So pop your cravings in the comments, even bonus points if you can give them a little healthy twist as well. And I'm wishing you the healthiest and best first trimester and pregnancy, and I hope to see you again soon in another video. Have a lovely day, and sending also love to your baby. Bye.